So next I'm going to take the Firebase. I'm going to click on this first link. So next I'm going to click on this get started. We have already created a clone project of BBC. So I'm going to click on this and we will be redirected to the console of our project. So here you can see that this is a console of our project BBC clone, and in the sidebar you can see that we have already selected the authentication. We have already enabled authentication. Then next I'm going to click on build again. At that time you can see that below authentication there are another options. So from these options I'm going to select this Firestore database. So I'm going to click on Firestore database. Then next I'm going to click on the create database button. After that, I'm going to select one of the option, that is start in production mode. Then next I'm going to click on this next button and I'm going to select the location. So I'm going to select Mumbai as the location and I'm going to click on enable. So now you can see that our database has been created. This is our database. So next you can see that the main important thing. So here there is a rules option. So when I click this rules option, you can see that here it is showing allow read write if false. So I'm going to convert that into true and I'm going to click on the publish button. So at that time you can see that the changes has been published. Okay. So next I'm going to take the data section again. So into this data section, I'm going to add the details of the news. Okay. So before that, what I'm going to do is you can see that this is the card section. So whenever we click this card section, we need to be redirected to the news details page. Okay. So next I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new component. That is, I'm going to give newsdetails.js as the name of the component. Here I am going to give as news details. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this card section by using link component from React Router DOM as like this way. Then next I'm going to use the two props and to give the root, that is to/details. So next I'm going to do is I'm going to give this root in the app component. So I'm going to take the app component and here I'm going to use the root component, and inside this root component I'm going to give the path, that is /details, and I'm going to give the element, that is news details. Okay. So now you can see that when we click any of the news, we will be redirected to news details page. So next I'm going to do is I'm going to take the home component and here I am going to pass the data. So this is the way of passing data in the link component. We have already taken the data by mapping and I'm going to pass that data as data colon data. So now we can take that details in the news details component. So I'm going to use the use location hook from React Router DOM. So first of all, I'm going to define a variable called location and I'm going to assign the use location hook into that. Okay. So now I'm going to log that in the console. So here I'm going to take the console and I'm going to click on one of the news. So at that time you can see that we will be redirected and here is the data. Okay. The location which we have logged. Okay. So now you can see that in that contains data which contains the details of that news. That is the news title, content, description, etc. So I'm going to next divide this portion into two parts, left to right for details and comments. So for that, I'm going to remove this console first, and next I'm going to remove this news details. And here I'm going to divide this. So inside this class name, I'm going to give as grid column 2. Okay. So as two part, I'm going to use two div. In the first div, I'm going to use I'm going to show the title first. So h1 tag. Inside the h1 tag, I'm going to give as location dot state dot data dot title. And after that, I'm going to use the h4 tag. So inside this h4 tag, I'm going to give location dot state dot data dot description. So now you can see that the structure as like this way. Here is title and description. So next I'm going to give a class name for this title. That is, in this class name, I'm going to give as a font extra bold and text to Excel. Okay, so now you can see that the structure is like this way. Fine. Then next I'm going to use the image tag after this description. So here I'm going to give location.state.data.url to image. Okay, so now you can see that here is the image also. So next I'm going to give the command section. So for that, before that I'm going to give padding 5 class name. Okay. Next I'm going to define a new or I'm going to create a new component. So I'm going to give the name of the component as comments. Okay. Comments.js. And here you can see that I'm going to give as comments and I'm going to call this comments component in the news details component as like this way in the second part. So now you can see that here is comments. Okay. So next I'm going to divide this into two rows. Okay. For adding comment and showing comment. So for that, here I'm going to give class name and grid row 2. Okay. So we have divided into two parts. So next I'm going to remove this and to give div. So before that, I'm going to use the input field from Tailwind. So I'm going to click on this link and here you can see that there are different design of input field. So I'm going to select this basic design. So I'm going to copy this first section and I'm going to paste it here. Here I'm going to give the end portion or end of the tag. Okay. So now you can see that here is the input field. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to reduces the width. So here they have already given a width full. So I'm going to give width that is 2 by 3. So this is a structure. You can see that as of now. Then next I'm going to do is I'm going to give class name padding 5 here also. Okay. Then I'm going to change the placeholder and label. So here I'm going to give that add comments in the label and I'm going to give placeholder as comments here and I'm going to give add comments here also.